Good morning, church. So, my earliest church-related memory was from when I was a little kid, no older than 5, and feeling awestruck at how beautiful it was when everyone sang Silent Night and held up their candles on Christmas Eve service at my dad's home church in Waco. I remember being fascinated by the sanctuary being lit up solely with handheld candles, and that warm, dim lighting being accompanied by a deep, soulful, and unified voice filling the sanctuary. Who doesn't like a Christmas Eve service, am I right? My next memories are going to St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church in Austin and wishing I could play on my iPad during service like the other kids. But after a couple years of attending St. Andrew's and living in Texas, me and my family moved to Loveland. We didn't attend church for a little while, but after a little while, my parents started the search for a new church, and we tried a couple, but the only one that stuck with me was the one that had free-range donuts. Needless to say, I was pretty disappointed when my parents said we weren't going back there, but eventually we made our way here, and I remember our very first time attending. We were welcomed at the door with a smile and genuine kind words, and we sat down somewhere over there and got acquainted with none other than Frank and Mary Kaufman. We stayed for fellowship and refreshments after service, and there I met my best friend Colton. We shared a riveting game of foosball, and from then on, me and my parents knew this church would be a good fit. One thing I didn't expect was how easily and often I was involved in church even before I was old enough to be in youth group. From being an acolyte every Sunday with Colton, to doing some scripture reading, to lighting the Advent candles with my mom and dad, and being a part of the Christmas pageant and doing What's in the Bag with Paul Heinzelman. For the first time, I found myself enjoying church and being truly engaged in what church had to offer. Then after a couple of years, I became of age for youth group. I remember early youth group meetings with Maya, Jesseline, Maria Greaves, and Colton. I remember when Colton first designed Sheriff S out of a ripped piece of masking tape. Then the summer of 2022, I went to camp for the first time, and I went on my first mission trip. At camp, I found a whole new faith community that I came to love so fast, and on that mission trip, I found that through education and action, I can make a difference to people who really need it. I truly believe that my early experiences through Loveland UCC, such as camp, mission trips, listening to Tindy sermons, and being involved in church are a big part of who I am today. Not just because I spent a lot of time doing church and faith-related things, but rather because the time I spent actually grew my faith and helped me to create my own unique faith ideology that allows me to strive to be a better person in all kinds of different ways. On my first mission trip, we went to Wyoming, and while me and Colton were cleaning up trash outside of a clothing bank, a man named TJ asked for our help. TJ told us that he was without a home and had received help to clothe himself from the clothing bank. When we explained our situation to TJ, he insisted on praying with us, and we did. Then we helped him clear out the shed we prayed in. I remember asking TJ why he was volunteering rather than working for money, and he replied that he realized that the place that had helped him needed help. And so in order to keep himself out of trouble and to support others in the same situation as himself, he decided to volunteer there. This interaction exemplified what it meant to me to be a faithful steward. He showed humility, he thought beyond himself, but most of all, he acted for the better of his community. Moreover, during my 8th grade summer, we went to New Mexico and learned the difference between service and justice, and last year, being in Oklahoma, we learned about injustice. These specific experiences in going to camp have led me to a brand of faith that emphasize empathy, love, action, truth, and humility. But to be clear, I do not believe that there is an almighty, all-powerful entity in the sky, for this belief has been used as reason for violence, such as countless genocides and tyranny, allowing man to impose suffering on its subjects. But I do believe that God exists in our shared humanity. God exists within your empathy, your love, your action, your personal truth, and your humility. I believe that the most godly thing you can do is share your honest humanity. This is because no other living organism, at least on Earth, has the capability of expressing themselves in such abstract, vivid, and boundlessly creative ways. For me, to be human and to be faithful is to search for the beauty within myself, within nature, other life, and the ways I interact with the world around me. This brand of faith helps me to reach the God that exists within you and I. This brand of faith not only helps me to love my neighbor, but also myself. It helps me to relieve the damage done to my neighbors at the hand of empire and oftentimes in the name of religion as well. But most of all, it helps me to procure relationships that I will have for a lifetime that allow me to grow myself in my faith within. I am endlessly grateful for the lessons this congregation has taught me, and I am so grateful I got the chance to do some growing up here, and very thankful that me and my family still attend. I love all of y'all, and I hope to see you next Sunday.